Peace, everyone. This video or audio blog will be about my experience of the isolation tank. So I'm not going to go to detail what it is. You guys can, there's a bunch of YouTube videos. You could Google this shit. Joe Rogan talks about it tremendously. And that's one of the, when I first time I heard about it, it was through a friend. And we didn't have it in our city at that time. I live in a pretty small city, so but now it actually came. There's actually two places in my city um, where there's isolation tanks that you pay like $50 an hour to go. But I'll get to the part already. I know a lot of people want to know if I seen anything and how I felt. You know, it took a while for me to get used to get comfortable in what I was doing because I was completely butt naked under this tank. The tank doesn't lock, so you can always open and close it whenever you feel like it. And there's a button on the side of the tank I was in to turn on the lights. The When I was in there, when I started getting, in the zone, you so to speak. I don't have. I guess you could say in the zone. It's like it's if you haven't meditated before, then you would know what I mean when you totally let go. When I didn't necessarily seen anything when I did because it's my first experience. Because more than 30 minutes at a time, I was only there for an hour. 30 minutes at a time, I was always holding against the light button because I get a bit claustrophobic at times. So I was like, okay, I let go of the light button, and when my mind catches up to me, I turn on the light switch right away. I'm like, okay, just relax, and then eventually I got comfortable what I was doing, and then I just decided to let go. And when I did, I didn't see anything, but I couldn't feel the water anymore when I was in the tank. It was it was something else. I could not, it was weird. It felt like I was just not there, so to speak. I, it felt like my mind, you aren't your body, I guess you could sort of say. This Icelandic experience happened months ago, and I want to go again. Like I want to go for a second time, but I had surgery recently, which gave me stitches on my back, so I can't go again until this shit gets healed. But yeah, when I was in the tank, I couldn't feel the water anymore. I didn't know what was left and right. I didn't know where anything was. I was just, well, where was I? Like, where, what is this physical world we're living in? You tend to question it more because your mind is trying to figure out where your body is, I guess. And when your mind is trying to figure out what is going on, I guess it travels to it digs deeper within your mind. And I did feel like I was floating in space. So, and then that feeling lasted probably 30 minutes, or not 30 minutes, probably like 12, 15 minutes. But when I was in the zone, time went by really fast. I didn't realize how much, like, it felt long at first because I wasn't really doing it right because I kept on turning the lights on and off. But once I got comfortable in my own skin and I just let go, and yeah, I definitely felt lighter. And I'm a big dude, so I was able to fit in that tank. But when I got out of the tank, you shower up, and usually the joint, the place you go to will offer you tea or small little things to eat. But oh yeah, it's important to be drinking lots of water afterwards, and drink lots before and after, and make sure you pee before you go in. That's important. But after that, it was surreal almost, because even the guy working there was asking me, "Oh, how was it? Did you like it? Did you see?" Like, he asked me, "How did you feel?" And I told him I didn't see anything, but I told him, what I just explained, that I didn't know what was left and right. I didn't feel anything. The water wasn't there anymore, and yeah, it was strange, like a good strange. It felt like my skin can breathe again. And the weirdest, this is the interesting thing. My girl picked me up afterwards, and my girl would be like, "Wow, you're very zen, you're very calm." And my girl's not into that kind of shit. I mean, she can be if she wants to, but it's not like she'll talk to me about like chakras and kundalini or Buddhism and being one with self. She'll never get on that level, but well, she can be. I'll say never. I won't say never, but she'll from what I know, she won't bring that up. But she noticed a big difference. She felt my energy was different, and she tested it out. She played some ignorant hip hop tracks, pretty much whatever is the top 40s, unfortunately, on the billboards. Um, you know, I'm, I love hip hop, but all that new shit that's coming out, I just can't fuck with that noise, man. Like, it just annoys me. With her, like, I get annoyed, I get frustrated when she plays ignorant shit. But with my other friends that love it, um, I'll voice my opinion. I did earlier because it was so fresh of this new kind of music that was coming out. But after understanding the psychology maker of some of my friends and the people I hang out with, the club heads and the ones who like to party, that's their shit. They're good people, but to me, I just always love the message and the deeper truth of things. So she decided to plug in her MP3 player, played her music on the ride. It was bumping. It was loud. I think it was like Lil Wayne or Drake, and I was not getting annoyed as I usually am towards her listening to that kind of music. I love her, but every time she blasts that shit, I'm just like, oh my god, this shit's annoying. Turn that shit off. But it was weird. I was just like, I was hearing it, but I was being appreciative that I couldn't hear sound, and I was able to hear the rhythmic and feel the rhythmic melodies of the beat. You know, like, and it sounded, and I'm not gonna say it sounded dope because I have a passion of those kind of musicians, but the beat was all right, I think, from what I remember. But it was okay, and I was okay. And she's like, wow, she was so amazed how relaxed and calm I was when she played all that kind of music. And quite frankly, I was too, but I was too chill um to say anything, and I'm like, yeah. And then afterwards, we went out to eat, and I just had this weird urge. I wanted to talk to everyone. And that's another thing that really tripped me out. It was like, I just want to talk to people. I don't understand why. Like, but it makes sense because as human beings in this world we live in, we have to talk to people. We can't always keep on looking at our fucking cell phones and looking at our tablets and looking at a screen all the fucking time. But that's a beautiful, and this is a beautiful thing about this isolation tank experience, is that I had the urge to talk to strangers, and I was more selfless. I realized I was more kinder towards people. Like, I have this one homegirl, and I always give her a hard time. I always just, I always, talk shit about her and her ex-boyfriend that she broke up with like millions of years ago. But that's just me messing around with her. I'm just joking around with her because she's more like a bro to me. Like sometimes I think she's not even. I mean, she is a chick. I know she is, but at the same time, I just feel like my relationship with her is just like we're just like brothers and sisters more. But yeah, but I was I was not making fun of her as much, and I was much kinder. And I remember, yeah, I just wanted to give more to people. I mean, I still do. I still like to practice selfless ways in life. It that does practice. It does take discipline, especially this world we live in. It's hard to not think of our own happiness, our own wealth, and everything. But I'm at a good place in my life where I don't care about my happiness anymore, and it's working great for me because I don't need to do things to make me happy. I just am, right? Because I don't need a reason to be happy. I think there's a quote like that, online. I read, and I mean, I read it, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. That you don't need a reason to be happy, or else, that could be taken away from you. But yeah, as for me, I don't care about my happiness. I don't give a shit about it. I don't give a fuck about me being happy because there's no point to no wanting to be happy or needing a reason to be. And when I start being selfless and start giving more for karmic values, it just made me more happier. Not like I'm smiling 24/7, but I'm more content with myself and going on in the world and meeting people. I fell off a bit track there, but this still relates with the isolation tank because that's when I started creating this philosophy on happiness and just giving. Because after that tank experience, yeah, I just want to talk to people and I just wanted to help people more. Oh, another thing, your skin will be extremely soft. So, but yeah, so that's my isolation tank experience. I do want to go again. They say every time you go into the tank, you start, I guess, seeing more things. And oh yeah, I failed to mention, there are people who are scared of going to the isolation tank, which I understand, which I totally get. Depending which place you go to, I mean, you're naked, you're in this tank, your lights are off, and you're in a tank closed, and you're just floating. And the lights. I think it's because you're in a little. It's not little. You're in a tank. And the lights are off, and you're just staying in there, and it's a bit claustrophobic. I can understand that, and I don't blame people at all because I wouldn't be turning off the lights on and off the first time using it if I wasn't scared. But I just did it anyways. I just said, "Fuck it, let's do this noise. Let's do it already," so I can talk about it. And I wanted to know what the hype was. I didn't see anything. But I think the second time around, when I do the isolation tank, it'll definitely be an experience. More, I believe I'm going to start seeing things the next time I go. But until my stitches heal up from my surgery, then yeah, definitely I'll give it a go. Oh, yeah, another thing I forgot to mention, do not taste the water. And don't let the water touch your face because that shit burns. And I seriously thought when I accidentally put the water in my mouth, I thought I was getting poisoned. So, but yeah, it's important to listen to the guy. There, you could do more research on it. I highly recommend it for people to do this. I understand if people don't, but there's so many health benefits to this from what I've been reading. And the fact that it's healthy and the fact it made me, quite frankly, a better person. Like if you meditate already, you already know the benefits. This is like meditation on steroids, pretty much, because it's taking it to another level. And the best part of it's natural. Like you're not smoking anything, you're not, popping any pills, you're not doing any kind of drug, right? Then again, weed isn't a drug, but I'm not gonna go there. That's be saved for another discussion. And there's people who mix the two, but I'm not on that level. I don't, in the way I look at it, I don't think I will be, but I don't know what the future holds. But yeah, I'll definitely make another audio blog on my isolation tank experience for the second time I go in. And oh yeah, it also made me think of Buddhism a lot, about Buddha. And man, it made me think like, man, what did Buddha see in order to reach full enlightenment? And he just meditated, okay? He's not like he went in an isolation tank. But what I'm just thinking about Buddha, right? I'm just thinking, what does Siddhartha see in order, like to reach the full enlightenment? Because sometimes when I meditate hard, I get fear starts coming out of me, and I think that's your mind telling you to face your fears, to face your fears, and you live your life, and you have to embrace living in fear, because that's the only way we grow and evolve as better people and goals we have in our lives, because we only live one life. So, to what I understand, well, if you believe in reincarnation, that's a different story. But from the limit of our mind of thinking, it seems like we only live one life, and we have to keep on, you know, doing something great with our lives. And fear gets in the way of that because for some reason well, it's not for some reason. There are many reasons why we are hardwired to think of we're not worthy enough to achieve those things. But anyways, about Buddha, it just makes me think, man, this guy must have seen some crazy ass shit in order for him to reach full enlightenment and to escape the wheel of reincarnation. So, anyways, I just want to end this audio blog by saying peace. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for the next.